Hello.
Hey, who are we?
We are Clara and
Toronto. And what are we doing?
we are offering our take on life.
Yes, and what are we calling our little take on
We're
life?
calling our little take on life
Positively
positively speaking
speaking. Yes.
because we're going to be discussing the topics that we think you care about, that we care about, and that we're very passionate about, that we discuss daily. And today, in honor of my sisters that are living, and have died with breast cancer, this is my tribute in solidarity.
Yeah, I know. Now, are you just coincidentally wearing this today, or are you doing this after all of what's going on in our
Actually, I just
about the Komen?
coincidentally, I just wear it. I wore it today. I wear it periodically, about maybe 4 times a year, because I want to show my support.
Okay, so what's going on right now in our country right now with regard to breast cancer awareness, the Komen Foundation, and Planned Parenthood situation? If people don't know what that is, I don't know. If you're not on Facebook or Twitter or any
Well,
living, maybe you don't know what's going on.
well,
But
or under a rock. But if you haven't been under a rock, you know that recently Susan G. Komen Foundation pulled their funding for Planned Parenthood
yeah,
because they didn't agree with some of the services they provide.
right.
So now, because of the backlash, and thank goodness there has been a tremendous backlash, Susan G. Komen has decided to rethink its position and reinstate their funding.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Because I was actually very surprised. I was actually really surprised to wake up the other day and to read the articles about the Komen Foundation deciding to very quietly pull funding from Planned Parenthood. And I know that as of recent, they got new members of their board who kind of had more of a political agenda in mind. And I was really surprised because, in my opinion, I felt that they were sending a very contradictory message to what the ultimate mission is of the organization. And I thought that they were really potentially damaging their credibility. What did you think?
Absolutely. I definitely think that that's right on the mark. I think that we need to keep our political agendas out of people's wombs. It's not our responsibility to decide what's right for someone else. If whether you're right to life or pro-choice, that's your opinion, and we all are entitled to one, and we all do have one. But for an organization like the Susan G. Komen Foundation to succumb to that type of peer pressure, and I'm sure that's what it was. I was very disappointed in them because I have supported the Susan G. Komen Foundation for many, many
Yeah,
years
so I.
and do their runs and walks and all of that.
Well,
So,
Clara, what about the people though that say it's not Susan G. Komen's role to fund these things? I mean, what about the people that say there are other organizations out there that can provide funding for breast cancer? Why are we putting so much pressure on Susan G. Komen? Why is this even an issue?
well, what I would ask them is what gives you the right to question what they're doing?
Hmm.
Why are you? I mean, who died
Well,
and left you, boss?
Well, that's true, maybe, and they are a private organization, right? I mean, they have the right to decide who they give their funding to and all that stuff. Why?
They absolutely do.
Yeah,
And if you disagree with how they are using the funds, then you can withdraw your support of that organization. But to try to speak for all of us collectively is inappropriate, because in I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but in so doing, with them withdrawing their support, this was another way to disempower women, because there's no one should have the right to tell a woman what she can or cannot do with her body.
sure.
There are lots of folks out here talking about pro-life and so forth, but you're not going to be there to take care of those children. We need to leave that up to the individuals who are in the situations.
Well, in my opinion of that is that's a totally different. I mean, I don't even like speaking about pro-life issues in the same vein as breast cancer awareness and those services because
You're correct.
they're really two different.
They're totally
They're
two
two
different
different
things,
issues.
and they should never have been commingled.
Never, never. And the reality is that this was an organization that was in large part helping get preventative care services to thousands of underprivileged women who need that. Now, what I think is so great, Clara, and I posted this on my Facebook earlier today, is that many good things did come of this whole situation. Number one, social media is just, I mean, with the whole recent SOPA and PIPA, takedown, and with everything that's going on politically in our world right now, social media is continually proving itself to be a force to be reckoned with. And organizations and companies are really having to take care to keep that in mind. We've had
Absolutely.
no other time in our history have we had the ability to create such an impact. Number two, because of this and all the support that Planned Parenthood has had, they've raised throughout donations in just the past several days more than Susan G. Komen ever gave annually.
So we should thank all of those folks who created this whole debacle.
Well,
because
yeah.
it has backfired on them.
Well, yeah, and not only that, I mean, I think it's great now. I mean, I think a lot of women didn't even know that these services were provided, and now because of the attention that it has been given, a lot of people that didn't know about the services now know.
Now they know.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So you mentioned also about empowerment and how it disempowers women. You've been doing something, you just started something as well
Yes,
about that.
an empowerment group for women only. I know I've been told by Toronto, the first person, that's discriminatory.
I didn't say it's discriminatory.
Well, you said it was, what did you say?
Well, I just said, why the dudes got to be left out?
And why are you going to hold it against me because of my gender?
Yeah.
Because women act differently around men. But the purpose of this empowerment group is just that, to empower women, because we know that women act differently around men, as do men behave differently around women. What we're trying to accomplish in this group is to help women find their power and to discover their authentic selves. And that's what we're going to do in here. And it's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous.
Well, what are you talking about?
We're talking about life. We're talking about the ways in which we have had our power taken away from us over the years, how we came to be so disempowered.
So you're speaking in front of.
I'm the facilitator, and we have 30 members now, and it's just a fabulous group. We have our tools of the trade. So for those of you who may not be able to join us, if you'd like to follow along.
Well, this is going over the internets, so
Well,
they're not all in Austin.
Exactly, and that's why I'm telling them this. All you need is to buy the book Simple Abundance, and you need to buy a blank journal, because those are our two main tools that we're going to use to nurture ourselves back into wholeness. And you can follow along with us. If you subscribe to this channel, I will be posting things on it to just to help you empower yourself. It's going to be a great mission, because what I have learned, and what Toronto and I talked about earlier, is that your perception becomes your reality.
Yeah, and my reality right now is that I'm sitting and you are standing, and we look about the same height.
Well, that's as it should be, since Toronto is 6 feet.
6'1".
6'1", and Clara is 4'11".
Small.
And cute. So that's why I needed to stand.
Yes.
But let's talk more about
perception becoming reality. Cool. What do you want to say about that?
Well, what I always say about it is that we create our own realities. If you decide that you are not going to be happy, then you're not happy. Today it's a rather cloudy day here in Austin, Texas.
Yep.
And if you allow that to determine your mood, whether you're going to be happy or sad or whatever, then that's exactly what you will receive. So
that sounds like a really small kind of version of perception becoming reality. How else do people create their reality?
Well, you tell me.
Your perception. What's
been your experience with that?
Well,
or what have you witnessed?
What have I witnessed?
Yes.
Well, let's take, for instance, Valentine's Day is getting ready to come up. Yes. I know we weren't going to talk about relationships in this video, and we are running long on time. I know that a lot of people, when this day comes every year, people who are single tend to create this misery, self-imposed misery.
Drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what becomes their reality is what they dwell on, right? It's the negative. Yeah. It's the,
and
I don't want to be alone.
It's not just single people. It's also for people who are in relationships and married. If they're significant other doesn't recognize the day with, and you should, all you folks out there, you should do something just to show that person that you care, because they may be expecting that. And if they are, what's it going to hurt? Because anything that you do to fill up their emotional bank, then they are going to be more willing to fill yours up. This is what a young person does while we're making a video. He has to check his text messages.
First of all, this isn't even my phone. This is your phone, and I'm trying to silence it.
Okay, well, don't check
we're making
my
a video.
Text messages. And this too is what y'all will see, because we try to keep it real in here, because sometimes we don't always see eye to eye.
Look.
Like now. So, but anyway, back to what we were saying.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
We're getting a little long. We're getting a little long on time.
Just because, and let me just say this to all of you who may be expecting something on Valentine's Day, and you've already made a decision that, well, if he doesn't get me something or she doesn't get me something, then I'm going to really be upset, and that's just not going to work for me. You're already planning to be miserable.
Yeah.
That's a strategy for setting yourself up to not be happy. Don't create that kind of drama in your life. If that person doesn't get you anything, that is no reflection of how he or she feels about you. Maybe they just got busy and forgot. One of my very dear friends had a birthday the other day, and I was just swamped. I didn't have time to think about it. My computer crashed.
So
the last thing I was thinking about was her birthday.
So your birthday's in 2 days. If I happen to be busy or forget, that's all right.
Means absolutely nothing to me, because I'm secure in how you feel about me. So that kind of stuff doesn't bother me, and that's where I'm trying to get everybody else. Because if you know that person loves you, and I know he loves me, and he knows I love him, so we don't have anything to prove. That's where I want you to be.
Cool. So did we cover perception becomes reality, or did we go off on a tangent a little bit?
No, we covered it, but we went off on a tangent, as we will do from time to time.
Well, we'll piggyback off of that, or off of something else similar next time or something.
Okay.
Cool. Well, this is our first little video.
So
we're going to do a little trial and error, and we'll see how it goes. And, I know it's like running 12 and a half minutes long, but, for the future ones, y'all can watch.
Well, and I think the reason he keeps mentioning that is because we know that the younger generation has a very short attention span. But for those of us that have been around a while, we can watch something that's going for 12 minutes and not be so put out by it. Because this is great information, and if you want to improve your life, then just come back. Keep watching.
What's it got to do with the young generation, old generation thing?
Because you've mentioned time about 3 times.
Well, yeah, because people are probably wondering why this video was running.
Okay, well then they shouldn't be watching it. They should just turn it off. Because if you can't devote 13 minutes to improving your life, what does that say? So
the long story longer, basically, we're just going to talk in front of the camera like we do when we have our little discussions between us here. And y'all can watch, and if not, we're just going to talk in front of the camera.
We're just going to talk anyway, because that's what we do.
But anyway, I'm Ronald.
I'm Clara.
And we are Positively Speaking. And we'll see. We'll hope to keep this going.
Keep this going. Come back and see us.
Yay.
Bye. Love ya.
Mean it.